Hello and welcome to this week's Pocacito webinar. My name is Max Grünig from the Ecologic Institute, and this webinar is part of our Post-Carbon Cities of Tomorrow program, where we connect cities on sustainability in the United States and in Europe, and especially also in Germany. As part of this program, we bring both participants from the United States to Europe and to Germany, among others also to Bottrop, hence the session today, and also German and European mayors and city practitioners to cities in the United States. And this is a very active program that's been happening since 2013, and I'm very glad that we can continue it for the next few years as well. I'm very excited to present to you here today Lord Mayor Bernd Tischler from the city of Bottrop in the rural area in Germany. I won't give a detailed introduction. You've seen the invitation with the vita included. Bernd Tischler has been mayor of, or is mayor in Bottrop since 2009 and is very active both regionally and internationally, communicating about the transition of his city from a coal and steel city into an innovation hub. These are my words, not his. You might phrase it differently. I have to say this is a very interesting, very sparkling example of a transition city, both in terms of technology, economics, but also the people, motivating the people and getting support behind the idea of a new beginning. Mayor Tischler is also a very exciting person and is very committed to international exchanges and communication. And so thank you very much for joining us here today. I'm very honored that you found time. I will just briefly say a few house rules. So we want to encourage you to ask questions at the end of the introductory presentation to Mr. Tischler. And please, you can do this either in the chat function or in the question pane, or you can raise a hand. I will then try to open your microphone. If for some reason you cannot speak where you are, I will then read your question for you. That's fine as well. We will try to get as many questions answered as possible, but we will also aim to stay within the 50-minute time limit that we set ourselves. And so to not stress this too much, I will stop myself here and hand over to Bernd Tischler. And I want to ask you to begin with, how did you actually manage to get where you are today? We talked about this year is the closing of the last deep pit coal mine in Germany at the end of the year, and Bottrop is still moving fast into a new future. And I'm very curious to hear your story, how you actually actively designed and guided this transition process in your city. Thank you, Mr. Tischler.
Yeah, thank you, Max. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, warm greetings to you all from good old Germany. It's a great pleasure for me to be part of your webinar. And I would like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about the Innovation City project that we are implementing in Bottrop. There is already a hard-working day behind me, so I just had several cups of coffee and I hope it works. If you agree, I would like to start a short presentation with only a few slides about our project called Innovation City. And we will start now. The situation in Germany, you can see where Bottrop is in the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. In Bottrop are living 120,000 inhabitants. We are still a coal mining city. The last hard coal mine in Germany is closing in Bottrop this year. There are still about 2,500 miners working in this last German hard coal mine. Our unemployment rate is about 7%, which is below the average of the region and similar to the state level of North Rhine-Westphalia. Already today we can see the impact of climate change, and we see in Bottrop, for example, heavy rainfalls with local floods. We see storms, etc. And our initial situation is the following. About 40% of CO2 emissions in Germany are emitted by buildings. I guess it's quite the same in the United States. So if you want to reduce CO2 emissions effectively, you have to improve the energy efficiency of the existing buildings, of the existing building stock. Only to rely on new built houses would take too long time, and time is what we do not have. This is where the Innovation City project takes action at the already existing buildings and infrastructure. Our target is to reduce CO2 emissions about 50% in the city. Our goal is, as I told you, to reduce 50% in only 10 years. And after 6 years, we have already achieved a reduction of 40% of our former CO2 emissions. And we have tied energy efficiency, urban development, and the quality of living together. And also we have enhanced an integrated planning approach and a detailed sectoral observation. You can see the Innovation City process. We have written a kind of blueprint how to organize the transformation process. This takes into account technical innovations, but also, as I call it, process innovation. Another important part has been the involvement of the citizens. In my opinion, it is very important what we call process innovation. It means a new governance structure based on a partnership between business, city, science, and citizens. And this Bottrop blueprint is very well known in Germany, and it's quite easily transferable to other cities. So the lessons we've learned in the past years, we built up a joint effort of industry, science, and politics. We have a very strong backing by the Bottrop's citizens. We have good progress and tangible results so far. For example, our retrofitting rate is 3% per year of the existing building stock, which is threefold above the national average. We can see economic success. we are attracting new investments into the city. And even very important, we created what I call a new vision for Bottrop beyond 2018, the date when the last German coal mine closed. Innovation City is an open project, meaning we are always looking for new partners. Everyone can join our project. So I hope if you are interested, don't hesitate to contact me, and I'm looking forward to our discussion. Thank you very much for the beginning.
Well, thank you very much for this introduction. And again, you have several ways to ask questions, and please feel free to ask any questions you might have. You can use the chat function, you can use the questions pane, and you can also raise a hand virtually. There's that function in the control panel as well. And I want to go first. Maybe I have this privilege as moderator to just ask, and I wanted to know, I mean, this process obviously is highly developed now, but if you go back at the very beginning, how did you start this process? Like, was there a group of people you worked with in the beginning? And how did you actually get the first people to say, that's a good idea, I want to join this process and be part of it? And yeah, maybe that's a starting question, and I hope that's not too broad. But of course, for anybody who wants to replicate this, it's interesting to know how on the ground you actually go from standing there with maybe higher unemployment, maybe lower economic growth, and people being uncertain about their future, maybe pessimistic, and then you're the mayor, and you have all the responsibility, but you cannot do it all alone. So how did you do the first step?
Yeah. Okay. In former times, I've been the technical director of the city as well. We started, I guess, about 2002, 2005, with thinking over the process, the time after coal mining. So we started very early, and we thought, what is our strength? And we found out that our strength is to handle with energy. In former times, coal energy, and we thought it could be a good idea, it could be a good chance to deal with energy efficiency and to deal with renewables. And consequently, we started in this early times to build up wind energy zones, to build up renewable energy sources in the city. And step by step, we started this process. And step by step, we found more and more people who said, okay, this is a good idea, let's follow this direction. And then in 2010, the German industry in the Ruhr Valley started Wettbewerb ist competition with the goal. We are looking for a city in the Ruhr Valley, which we want to change into an innovation energy efficiently city. And in this competition, Bottrop had wonderful advantages because of the former ideas and former projects we realized, and that's why Bottrop won this competition. And we got a strong support by the German industry, because they said if it works in Bottrop to change a city into an energy efficiently one, and if we can place our products, our ideas in this city, we have a good market possibility to sell our projects, to export our ideas. And that's why it's a good joint venture between the German industry of the region and the city as well. And these ideas together convinced the people, because we decided, and this is one of the key issues in my opinion, we decided to make it very transparent, to win the people of the city, to bring them in our boat. Yes, they said, okay, we follow our mayor in this direction. Yes, we want to find a new way after coal mining. We stop this tradition, and we are going a new way, and that's why it works.
Great, thank you very much. I think some of the questions that have been asked now, or that people want to ask, may have been partially addressed, but only partially. So I'm going to open this up. I have two questions, maybe one from Juliette Barallon. I'm not entirely sure, but I unmuted your microphone, and I hope you can ask your question yourself. Otherwise, I'm happy to read it out. Juliette, please.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to know, because you said the model was easy to replicate, so I'm wondering if it has been replicated already in other cities in the region, and I'm also wondering if you get any support from the regional government.
Great, thank you. So, did you hear the question?
Not at all, not at all.
Okay.
Please repeat the beginning.
Yes, so the first question is, you said it's easy to replicate the model, the Bottrop model. So the question is, do you know of an example where it's been already used again?
Well, yes, of course. We are now rolling out the process, not only in Germany, but even in other cities. I've been several times in the United States as well, in the Virginia region, and talk with mayors about our project, even in Canada and in China and Japan. So it's an international rollout, because a lot of cities have, nearly every city has the same problem. The governments signed the Paris climate Verträge, and the governments are asking their cities, their mayors, hey, what are you doing in your city? Because the cities are responsible for 40% of CO2 emissions of a country. So the cities have to take action, and yeah, the Bottrop model is a good chance to find a way how you can start this action. And our Bottrop blueprint has some simple key points that you can easily start with and transfer into other cities as well, and it works quite good.
And there was a second part, or second question from Juliette, was regarding your collaboration or cooperation with the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. If you work with them, because you mentioned industry and of course your local stakeholders, but how is the cooperation with the state?
Yeah, the project is famous in Germany, and that's why not only the state government, but even the federal government are supporting the project, because they are asking themselves, why is the retrofitting rate in Bottrop 3 times higher than the national average, for example? And they are asking us questions, how do you manage the process in Bottrop? And they are giving support. For example, the state of North Rhine-Westphalia is giving us a financial support that we can help people to build their retrofitting actions, to improve their houses and to create their actions, and we can support them by funding which is working very good.
Thank you. And we have more questions coming from Reed Detchen. I'm gonna unmute you, and I hope you can speak. Otherwise, of course, I can read your question for you.
Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership in tackling a very difficult problem of retrofits. I wonder if you could describe what the biggest obstacles you faced in terms of getting people and businesses in particular to participate, and how you've been able to overcome that.
Yeah, it's one of the first steps of our project was to organize round tables to bring the business people and the citizens into the same boat. And with our sort of funding, it's very attractive for business to be part of the process, and it's even very attractive for the people who invest in energy efficiency. And so it is working like a small Konjunkturprogramm. Max, please tell me the English word.
Oh, like a stimulus program.
Yeah, stimulus program in the local business. And step by step, we see our success, and the people, and we learned that $1 funding creates nearly $7 private invest in energy efficiency. And that's why both the local business and the citizens have a lot of advantages, and they are very involved in the project. But it only works because we give a free consultation to the people, to the business people, as well as to the citizens. And this free consultation, we tell the people how much money have they to invest to improve the energy efficiency of their houses, which are the companies which can do the work for them, where can they get financial support, where can the city of Bottrop can help them, and things like that. And this free consultation is successful and brings this investments that I told you before.
Well, thank you very much. We have more questions coming from the next one. I would open the microphone for Erika Dingman. If you can ask your question directly yourself, the microphone is open.
Yes, hi. Thanks very much. I think I can you hear me?
Yes, really well.
Okay, great. So I wanted to know, to go back to the beginning of the process, did the city have like a technological advantage deriving from the coal industry that could in turn help in the new direction that you took?
Can you repeat again?
Well, so I'm curious to know whether or not there was technology that was from the coal industry that you were able to take advantage of when, you know, redirecting your economy toward renewables and stuff.
Okay.
I don't know if that's even pertinent, but I was just curious to know, you know, how the transition went on economically, if there were certain advantages that the city itself had from prior experience.
I guess that's not an easy question, because that can be both very direct. Say, now we have ideas about energy pump storage in former coal mines, right? That's a very direct, but then it can be also more the ability, you know, the training, the ability, the capability of the people and the spirit of the people, which is not so directly the coal directly, but indirectly what came with it. I don't know. It's maybe hard to answer this ad hoc, but if you have any ideas.
Yeah, both. The first time we started, of course, technical projects together with the coal mining companies. For example, Grubengas, the English word is Grubengas.
Oh, yeah. That's a very technical term. Sorry, I have to. So it would be the gas that can be the methane. Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and we built with the methane gas from the coal mine. We built Blockheitskraftwerke.
Cogeneration power plant. Yeah.
Units, genau. So there was a technical cooperation between the coal mining company and the city. And on the other hand, and this is for our coal mining region here in Germany, in Bottrop, important, I guess. There is a good kind of good mood working together, that people are solving problems together. They are used to see the hard work in the coal mine, and they are used to work together and solve problems together. And this, I call it now coal mining mood, is transferred to the city, and this help us to organize the process. The people are used to start working, not talking too much, but concentrating on the project and solving the problems. And this spirit is in the city, and that's why most of the people in the town don't fear anymore for the closure of the coal mine, but they are, because they are convinced there is a new chance, a new way on which Bottrop is now going forward.
Excellent. And I wanted to ask a follow-up question to that. You mentioned there was the development of a vision for Bottrop past 2018. And I'm curious, how was this vision developed? How was it, what process did you choose for that? and how long in the future does this vision go?
Yeah, we created the vision, we created the idea in the competition I told you. The competition took place 2010, and within this competition we wrote down our vision. And the first steps of starting the Innovation City project was to create we call it master plan, with 300 renewable and energy efficiency and other themes and projects. And this master plan describes the way, the process the city is going on. And we discussed all these measures, all these plans very intensively with the whole city, with a lot of people. We went to the schools, we went to the markets, we went nearly everywhere, because our idea is we have to convince the people, we have to fetch them in our boat, and we have to row in the same direction. And that's why this the project is successful, because there is as I told you, a good mood, a good spirit in changing the former coal mining city into the innovation city.
Thank you very much. And I'm not entirely sure, but Reed Dechen had a second question that was possibly partially answered, but I will open the microphone again because it is somewhat different, it has a different angle. So Reed, the microphone is open if you want to go ahead.
Thank you, Max. I'll make a slightly different question. You emphasized, it seemed to me, the importance of government funding to encourage participation. As you go to other cities and other regions, do they see that as achievable, or do they see it as impossible for them to get government funding to invest in this way?
In the German rollout process is working quite the same. In the rollout into the other German cities, they can use and they can talk to their local regional governments or to the state governments, and they can get funding as well. So there are not too big summen amounts, but they are very effectively. As I told you, $1 creates 7 private dollars, and don't underestimate that the people say, oh, if the local government, the mayor gives me a little bit money, it's wonderful. So I would like to help to find this new way, and I will invest, and I can senken, I can reduce. Thank you. Reduce my energy bill every month, and that is working. And our project, for example, in Canada, I've been several times to Canada, and we exported our district heating ideas. We found we have many projects in Bottrop which are working very good. For example, the district heatings or the co-generation CHP units to create and to produce energy and warmth decentrally. And these points are easily transferable to other cities all over the world.
Thank you. And we do have another question, which is also a question where I want to build up on. But Mary, you had a few comments, but also a question now. I'm just trying to find you in the list here. And I unmute you now. So you're on the phone. You should be able to talk now. Or should I ask the question for you? That's also fine. Okay, I guess she's not in a situation where she can talk. So Mary Remar from Texas is asking, what is the size of Bottrop in terms of population? I think you had it on the slides in the beginning, but as a follow-up, to expand on this, because I had a discussion this morning about whether actually your model can also be applied to the rural area, which is another question, because in the United States, we also have a lot of rural coal areas that face the transition challenge. And so that's a question building on the size question.
Okay, Bottrop is located in the Ruhr Valley. The Ruhr Valley is an agglomeration of about 5.5 million people. Bottrop itself has only 120,000 inhabitants, and we have about 100 square kilometers. And what was the second part of the question?
Rural and whether you can.
In my opinion, it doesn't matter whether your city is a rural one or a part of an agglomeration like Bottrop is, because organizing the process, realizing our blueprint, realizing the steps I told you, is possible whether you are in a rural area or in an agglomeration. It doesn't matter, in my opinion.
And that's a very important point. Yeah, we had this discussion. I can tell you it was about Wyoming, which is a major coal mining region, but we also hear this from people in West Virginia who are very impressed by what you're doing, but then they wonder, can we do this where we are, which is less of an urban area? And that's great for them to hear that. I think very important.
Nearly 70% of the Bottrop surface are green, wooden or rural landscape. So it will work.
Excellent, excellent. And there's a question from Catherine Bomboy in Nashville, and she asked me to read it for her. And it's referring back to the point you made it. We have to do the existing building stock. We have to work on that, because if we only work with the new buildings, this will take too long. And her question is, what is the average age of the building stock in Bottrop? And maybe you can explain a little bit what age cohort a lot of buildings are from, because of course the Americans don't know what type of city Bottrop is necessarily.
Yeah, we are a mixed city. The typical houses in Germany is 2 floors. But in the city center, there are higher buildings as well. And we started in our retrofitting campaigns, as I told you, with this free consultation. So you can get all the information you need and to improve the efficiency of your house, of your flat. And so we have a nearly nowadays 3,000 consultations with different people in energy efficiency, and that's why supported by our funding and supported by our free consultation and supported by our local city help, the people are easily, it's easily possible for the people to start their investment and to reduce their energy costs. And it's like a snowball system. It's turning around, and it's a story of success.
Great. And what would you think is about the average age of the building? I know it's my building.
Sorry, I forgot that. It's different in different parts of the city. There are new build areas which have a quite good energy efficiency, and there are former coal miner houses built in the 1920s and later, and for example, very with a bad efficiency, the buildings from the 1915th and 16th, and there we had a lot of work to do to bring them in a good energy efficiency situation. But in working together with the ownership of the houses, which are sometimes in Germany are organized by companies, you have a huge impact to improve the energy efficiency even from these houses from the 15th and 1916th and 15th.
Excellent, excellent. And if I can ask a question, I think one of the first slides you showed climate change impacts in Bottrop. And so, of course, a lot of the activities that you've done so far are a lot about basically mitigation or reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and with energy efficiency, energy management, renewable energy. And I wonder, what about climate change adaptation, heat waves or massive rain events or storm? Is that also an area you're working on in Bottrop?
Yeah, we are, as I told you, we don't concentrate us only about on things like energy efficiency, but we are also dealing with improving the living conditions for the people. So we are Innovation City is even a project of structural change of urban quality of life, improving the urban quality of life. So we are implementing green areas in the city, new green areas. We are reducing our public, we are improving our public bus systems, bicycle systems, and things like that. So we are dealing with several fields of action, not only energy efficiency, which is of course a main goal, but even mobility, urban situation, and improving green areas in the city as well.
Excellent. That's very good to hear.
It's all located and put together in this master plan, which started at the beginning of the process. So one of the key issues is in the beginning of the process, if you have a political and a public commitment, the second step has to be the vision, means the master plan. Where will you go to, and which are the steps? And to these steps belongs, for example, the green situation of the city, the water situation of the city, the transport situation, the mobility, etc., etc. And for Bottrop and for the Ruhr Valley, very important, creating new jobs, creating new investment, because we have to manage the loss of nearly 2,000 coal mining jobs in this year.
Yes, that's a steep number for a city the size of Bottrop. That's quite significant, and of course, over the years, many more. So jobs are very important, and that's the question. Catherine Bomboy has a second question on that, and she asked me to read it again. It's about who trains the consultation experts, and also who pays for the time that they need when they give these free consultations.
Yeah, very good question. This is this new form of cooperation between business, science, and city. I told you the science, the business, the Ruhr business, the Ruhr Valley industry said we want to support the project. We want to help the city of Bottrop in this process, and that's why some people are paid, some consultants are paid by the German industry, and that's why we are able to give this free consultation. And the consultants are specialists from the local and regional universities and business companies.
Excellent. Well, our time is almost up. And so I wanted to just ask you to maybe say in 2 minutes time what your next steps are, like a little bit of an outlook. Doesn't have to cover the next 20 years, but just a general direction, what you're also looking forward to and what your plans are for Bottrop for now.
Yeah. Okay, time is running out. In 2018, at the end of the year, the closure of the coal mine, we will see. And in 2020, I'm convinced to tell you that we managed the 50% CO2 reduction only within 10 years, and it will be a huge party in Bottrop. And we are now thinking about the time beyond 2020, and we are working in another future process. We call it Future City, which goes in the quite same direction, but a little bit wider in other themes as well. And so we are organizing now the next future process for the development of the city. And these are our next steps, and I'm enjoying it very much that this small German city is a kind of blueprint, national, but even international. And yeah, we are a little bit proud about what we have done.
Thank you so much, Mayor Tischler, for this webinar, for answering all our questions, a lot of our questions. And of course, I hope that we can all join you for the celebrations, and when you celebrate the 50% reduction, which is indeed a huge step. I have to say also thank you to all the people who dialed in, to the people who asked questions, but also who just listened. And thank you for spending this time with us here today. Mayor Tischler, I hope we stay in touch. I hope I can meet you in person again sometime soon. And please also, everybody, feel free to reach out if you have follow-up questions. And please stay in touch with us about our post-carbon cities of tomorrow and, of course, future city Bottrop. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. One last sentence.
Sure.
One last sentence. I want to say thank you for the questions and greetings to the people. And you are invited to visit the city. And don't forget, it's an open project. So if you have ideas, if you want to be part of it, don't hesitate to contact us. We would be very glad. Thank you.
Well, thank you. And yeah, Glück auf. Everybody, take care, and let's meet again sometime soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.